Hey, this is Killian. I guess we can go ahead and code this theme. It'll be fun. Just take a while. What we're going to do is we're going to type it out instead of drag and drop images and things like that. So it's a better way to code, and it's just the way that I'm coding now. So that's how I'm going to do the tutorial. The first thing we'll want to do is grab our default theme here, and we're going to copy it, and we're going to paste it into our theme folder here, and then we're going to rename it, and we'll just rename it DFG Blue. And from there we need to go into it and we need to rename anything that says your theme in this file here, which is the theme.php, and we're going to name it your theme, and we're going to replace with DFG Blue, and we're going to replace all, and that's done. So we can save it and we can close it. Next we're going to want to open all of the theme TPL files, and we're just going to open them all at the same time. We'll do the same thing. We'll find and replace. We'll replace all and all open documents, and then we will save all, and then we'll close all, and we're done with Notepad. Next thing we need to do is go into our test site, go into the admin panel, and we're going to install the theme. Just do a quick install, and that's done. Then we can switch to that theme, and of course we won't have anything here, so we can just close that for now. So the next thing we need to do is open up our PSD in Photoshop, and what we need to do is slice it. We're going to have 3 images to make up the top section. We'll have 5 images to make up the second row and table, and then we'll have 3 images to make up the last row. And we could use less images, but for the fact that this theme can use less images, you might be slicing something that doesn't, so I'm just going to do it the way that would require more than 1 image. So to do that, first we need to use a guide. We're just going to bring it down here somewhere and set it, and then we need to set a guide on the side, and just something like that. I mean, you can bring it out here depending on if you have a logo or something in here that you want to use. I don't on this theme, so I'm not going to use one, or a larger image. You can turn on your rulers by going to View and then click Rulers. You can set it to pixels or whatever you want to set it to. We do also want to make sure that these line up to the grid, for one. So I'm off the grid, so we're going to want to move that to where it's on the grid, and it just makes it easier if you're wanting to keep your images together and the same size on the left and right. In some cases it'll matter, in some cases it won't. Need to go ahead and zoom in here. We're going to grab this, and we're just going to drag it to the other side so we can set our spacer over there that we're going to slice, and we'll just set that in there. That should be right on, and it is. So that is the top side the top section is ready to be sliced. So what we would do is go over here to the tools and grab our slice tool. I'm going to zoom in a little bit though. That should be good enough. And we'll just start out here and we'll just come down and we'll just stay on that slice. Now this is going to be our left image, and then we have our repeating background, which is just 1 pixel, and then we would come over to the other side and just start out here somewhere and go down, and we have our right side. Now we need to slice this. This can be done different ways. You could slice each button if you wanted to have, like, say, rollover buttons or something like that. If you wanted to have let's say you wanted to have a flash navigation, you would actually slice this whole navigation out here, and then you would code that in Flash. We'll do that later. This menu we can just do in CSS, which I personally think is nicer and better, and I'm trying to stay away from Flash as much as possible. I'm just going to use these same guides here and make these 3 slices. Well, actually, this will be a little bit different. This will be our left image. This will be our background for the navigation itself. As you can see in this section right here, it actually changes. Well, this is our marquee, so we don't want our background just going, because this won't show up. So we need to create this, which is easily done. I need to drop my guide on there. It's easily done. All we need to do is just zoom in here a little bit and just pick a spot outside of it and inside. We could probably get away with just doing something right along that lines there. We do want to, keep an eye out for the shadow and where it starts and stops in here. That way it repeats the same all the way across. And then we will want a repeater right here, which will just be 1 pixel. And then we'll scroll out here to the end, and we just want to come in a couple pixels, so probably 3 will be fine. And when I say 3 pixels, I'm not talking about from the edge, I'm talking about from where the marquee starts. So that section is sliced, and then we just need to do this section here, which we'll just use the same size images here, and we'll just make those 3 slices. Get a guide so when we go to the other side we know where it's at. And that is the header. It's sliced. At this point we'll just go ahead and save for web, and we're going to save this as a GIF. You can save it as PNG or JPEG. You'll notice that if you change it to like a PNG 24, the size changes. PNG 24 would be fine. It's the best quality. But for this design, a GIF will work just fine. It just really depends on what you want to do. So I'm just going to leave it as a GIF, and I'm going to save it here. Now, if you're using a lot of, if your header has a lot of images, you might want to go in here and then save it, because it'll create a folder, and then you can rename that folder to whatever it is you're doing, such as the header or the footer or whatever, and keep all those images together. I mean, I've sliced some headers that had 40 something images, and then the footer had like 30 images, and the blocks had 9 images, and story blocks might have had 15 images. So once you get all of those images in there, it starts to become a nightmare to search through all of them. So in this case, we don't have a lot of images, so I'm just going to do it in the main folder here. I'll just rename it so it'll be the beginning prefix of each image will be HD, and then it'll be an underscore and 01, 02, 03, or whatever it is. I do want to select all my slices here to be all user slices, and then just click save. Now we have these images. So this is again our first table, this is our second table, and these 3 images are our third table. What we need to do is code them, so we'll need to keep referring back to this folder to see what these images are as far as the name and the size, because we need to code that in. Now we do have different size or different ways we can code this. There's a couple different ways. You can code just as HTML, which is just fine. If you're going to get into a lot of PHP, you will need to do inline PHP coding. If you're going to do if you want to do it in HTML, which is perfectly fine. I actually, in some cases, I prefer to code in HTML and then use inline PHP. In other cases, it's easier just to code in PHP. Some PHP, when you're coding a theme, for the most part, your theme is just HTML converted to PHP format. So there's 2 different ways you can code this, and it depends on what you like. For example, it would be echo, and the standard way is to use a double quote, and then you would type, for example, table, and then width equals, and then you have to put a backslash and then a quote, and then whatever size you want it to be, and then a backslash and a quote. And you have to do this through everything you do. The alternate way is just to add a single quote, and then you can code like standard HTML, which is very simple. So our table width would be 100%, our border would be 0 because we do not want a border, and then our cell padding would be 0 as well, and then our cell spacing would also be 0, and that's the beginning of the table. And this is just how to make a table. The TD element here is just for it's your information where you're going to have your images. You can use divs, TD. It's just a table element here, but it really is a preference as far as how people code. We could do this in div tags, CSS, and so there's a couple other ways actually, thanks to Sergeant Legend, who keeps finding new and interesting ways to code things. If you see some of the things he codes, he'll take 200 lines and break it down to 6. Of course, then his CSS sheet is 4 miles long, but it's a lot cooler than all this coding. It's also better, in my opinion. CSS is the way to go. But if you're just learning, I would recommend either learn CSS and try to stick to that, or learn tables, a standard HTML, and then move on to CSS. And CSS is pretty tricky. The way this table is, as you can see, we have 3 TD tags here. These TD tags represent, the first one would be for this image, the second one would be for this image, and the third one would be for this image. And what it's going to do is each image will line up across the theme. So this would be TD1, this would be TD2, and this will be TD3. It goes in a row. Technically, this is a 1-row table with 3 columns. They are also cells. Our next table will have 5 images, so we'll just need to make another table and have 5 TD tags here. We can just make it simple on ourselves, and we can copy that, and we can paste it 2 times, because we're going to have our third table has 3 images. We will need to just copy and paste 2 of these in here, so we have a total of 5, and our table is built. Now for the fun part, which is just typing it all out. We do have 2 different ways of typing it out so the images display. One of those ways is going to be used on the first image and the third image, because they're just standard images. The third, or the second way we do it, is when it's a background image. We're going to use a style instead of just a standard image source. So our first image is HD01, and it's 44 pixels by 90 pixels. So we'll do that by just opening this and typing width, and that width equals 4 pixels. And then the image source is themes, DFG blue, images, HD01.gif, and it has a width of 4 and a height of 90, and you should put the alt tag in there. Not everybody uses an alt tag, but I do, to make the theme compliant. You can also add a title in there for, for screen readers and things like that. But our second image is the background image, and that is HD02, and it is 1 by 90. The height should stay the same on the entire table. If it doesn't, then you sliced it wrong, which is why I use the guides and try to slice to the pixel. Now, unless you're using like row span and col span, and you have kind of weird mixed tables, the height should always be the same. So this is the background image, and it's just a little different. It's a style, and it's a background image, and we're going to use URL, and then of course themes, DFG blue, images, HD02.gif, and then we're still going to have the image source, which is the same the same thing here. We can type it or we can copy and paste it, whatever you would prefer to do. It's really just up to the user. Now the width is going to be 1 because it is 1. You can make it 50% or 100% if you wanted to define how far it goes. The height is needed. In this case, that should be all we need for that image. And then we have our third image, which is HDO4.gif. So let's go ahead and type that in there, and it's the same size as the first one. What was that? 04.gif. So that would be our first table here. We can go ahead and save that, and then we can refresh our site and see if we have a header. If I didn't screw up, then we should. And just so you can see, if we go up here and we inspect the element, you'll see that the image on the left will highlight. If I mouse over it here, we can actually preview it. Then of course we have the background image here, and it'll just show you the images. You don't really need to do this, but I'm just showing you for reference that these images now exist and they're displayed properly. So we now have the top section of the header, and we can move on to the second. And in that one, it's going to start at HDO5. And then we'll have the 06, 08, 09, and then the 11. We'll have to, reference back to the different sizes. Well, we know that this one's going to be 05, and it's 4 pixels by 30 high. So we can just go ahead and type that. Oops. And that will give us our first image. Our second image is the 06, and it's 1 by 30, and this is going to be a background image. So we can just type that out here. Oops. Man, I can't type. That's just crazy talk right there. Sure hope I learned to type by the end of this. Okay. And then our third image is the HD08, and it's 6 by 30. And then we have, oops, this one here, which is 09, and it's 1 by 30. This is the background image here for the marquee. So it's going to be a background image again. Alright, and then the last image is going to be HD11, and it's 17 by 30. Alright, let's assume I didn't make any major mistakes here. We should have our second section here. Now, keep in mind your navigation is going to be here, and then your marquee is going to be here. If, for example, you know, when you're resizing your theme, this is going to stay pretty big. It's pretty much going to do a 50-50 if it can. What you can do is on this background for the marquee, you can just go in here and you can type width, and let's say we want the width to be just 200, for example, and then we refresh. Now this marquee box will only be 200 pixels wide at all times. Even if you resize your theme, it's going to stay at 200. So you can do that if you want to, and it's you know, it's entirely up to you. You can mess with it and see what looks best, and just see what you like better. This is one of those things where you could go in and inspect the element, and then you could actually change this and just watch it grow, so you can, you know, see live which version or which size works better for you, and you can do it live. That way just makes it really easy. So 300 works for me. I'm just going to leave it at 300, which is what it is at now, and that's fine. Now we need to add the last three images, which is HD 12, 13, and 16. The let's see here, it's 4 by 20, 25, and then 1 by 25, and then 4 by 25. So that should be pretty easy to just remember 12, 13, and 16. So let's go ahead and type that there. This 4, and then, oh, I hate that. Oops. Height was 25, I believe. And then we have the background image here. Oops. That would have been one of those things that I got pissed off about because I can't find what I left out. That width is 1. And the last image. That's HD16. And we'll save that. And alright, so we have our header done, and that that makes it pretty easy there. So what we can do is we can go back in here to Photoshop real quick, and we'll just save this because we might want to make changes later. So we're just going to save that as HD, and then we can go ahead and we can clear our guides, and we can clear our slices. If we wanted to slice the footer real quick, which would be really easy to do, we could do it with one image if you're just going to have some stuff in here, which would be perfectly fine. The alternative is to use several images, but you don't need to. You could actually just take your tool here and grab your crop tool and just grab a section. We'll just grab that section right there, and we can just crop that out, and we can save it. We're going to save for web and devices, and we're just save it as a GIF. I'm going to just click save, and we're just going to call this footer background, and we'll just click save. Now we can go ahead and step backwards, so we undo that crop there, and then what we can do is open up our theme here, and it did not save in there, so I'm going to move that up into our images, and I'm going to open up our footer.php file. Now we just need to create a table, And alright, so we have that, and then this will just be a style. I don't know exactly what that height was, so let's take a look. It is 39 pixels, so let's add that and save it. And we should have a footer here. And once we, get some story blocks and stuff in here, then we're good. And of course, we want our footer to sit at the bottom of the page. In some cases, in other cases, we want the footer to float with the content. So it just depends on your preference. Some people want a lot of space in there, but it's very rare that you have an entire page that this is all there is. So it really just varies. You are more than welcome to code this however you want to. This is just how I'm coding today. Tomorrow it'll probably change, but for the most part, that is the header and the footer. We will be doing some other things with the header, which is what we're going to use the theme info for. We're actually going to make this expandable by the admin panel, like in the simple black V2 theme. For example, this right now is at this theme is at 80%. If I wanted to go into my theme management on this theme, I could actually change it from 80% to 100% and save it. And then, what it's going to do is it's going to expand at 100% of the resolution. So no matter what size I select for it, it's going to change to that. Now, if you for example don't really like that and you don't like the 80% or anything, then you can just change it to like 1990 or 990, which equals 1024. So your theme will actually be fixed. It will not be an 80% theme now. So even if I resized to well, I really can't because that's my resolution right now. But you get the point. You'll be able to adjust your theme as you want. It's really easy to do. It just takes a few extra minutes of coding. So we'll probably do that later on. But this actually, it's kind of turning out pretty clean. We'll have to see how this looks when I'm done. I might throw it on our site somewhere. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and code the blocks in the story and the table for the main center blocks, and then we'll go back and we'll add the navigation, the marquee, and the login script. Maybe some text at the bottom here for the um, links, copyright. On this particular theme, I will probably just put the copyright underneath of it, so you know how to do that. There's other ways to do it, like what we did on the Extreme site. It's for this type of theme, it's just a lot cleaner to have the copyrights in a pop-up. They're still here, and it's still visible that there are copyrights, so anybody can read them if they want to. Trying to think, there's also a couple other ways to do it. I don't. Trying to think of a site. Well, I can't think of one right now. So anyway, we'll get to that, and we'll get that sorted out. That way, you know how to do different ways for the copyrights. So that's it for now. Y'all have a good one. We'll be back. I'll do another tutorial probably tomorrow if I don't feel like doing another one today. I don't want to rush because we are typing everything out. It looks like a lot, but once you get through it, you'll be fine. I did want to let some of you know that just a couple tricks here, just to save time. I'll just show you real quick. Let me just create another file here. Let's call this header.php2 or header.php, but we want to make it header2.php. If you're using Dreamweaver, you can very easily just go in here and you can create your theme. We'll just leave those out for now. We're going to just do a split view. Let's go ahead and insert our tables. It's going to be one row, 3 columns, because we have 3 images, 100%, no border, no cell padding, no cell spacing. They're going to show up here, and this is basically how it works. You just drag and drop your images, and this will save a lot of time, so you can just zip on through. We will want to, I'm just going to change all these real quick, because that way you can, well, actually, let me back up. Those links are already fine the way it is there. This is just a lot easier. Now you have your image there, and then say this one here we want to have the style. Now you will probably have code hinting turned on, so it will be a lot easier for you. If you notice, there's a little extra stuff here, so what was that? The images, ht2.gif. So you have that image, and then let me get this image here. I messed that up somewhere in there. I'll have to fix it in just a second. With these, let me look what I did wrong here. Yeah, I'm not seeing what I did wrong right off the bat. It's one of those crazy, silly things. But for the lack of time here, I'll just add this here, and you can see, you can view it in live view. We'll save those changes, and this is what it would actually look like right now for that one section. It's, as you can see, it took, a couple seconds to code that, and then you could actually have it in HTML if you wanted to. If you have different programs like EasyHTML to any script converter, or you have PHP Designer and you're coding in that, sometimes it's still easier to code your layouts and everything in your HTML, and then you can convert it. So, like for example, this here, we just go up here to PHP, and then convert, and we can do it different ways. That's the way I don't like very much, and for some reason it doesn't actually do it properly in this, but it does do it properly with this method, which is the single quotes. So that works. So that also, again, takes just a few minutes if you have different programs, which there are reasons I have several. So in any case, we got the first two parts of the theme done. We have 3 left, and then the styling of the forums and stuff, and adding the extras to the header. Other than that, we're not too far off. I'm going to try to keep this video tutorial closer to 3, maybe 4 videos. So I just don't, I don't want 500 videos on how to code a theme, especially this basic. Again, these tutorials are sponsored by DFG Hosting. So y'all have a good one, and we'll see you next time.